Guys, give Michigan credit. I thought our guys, man, I loved their fight in the second half. I thought they had battled back from a halftime deficit and then down 9 in the second half. I thought we had some really good stuff in those stretches. In particular, I thought our bench gave us a really good lift. I thought Dale was great in that second half stretch. Playing big helped us. Obviously, we got to finish games and close out games better, but I thought there were some really positives that we can take into this week.
Well, Chris, I mean, you know the numbers. Third straight loss. You haven't won on the road in more than a year, and this is a Michigan team that lost 5 straight. Like, what is it going to take for this team to close out one of these games when you do have a lead with a couple minutes left, even after battling back and all you've been through? What's it going to take to win one of these?
Yeah, I think we've got to I think rely on our defense when we're not making shots, and they had a 3 that rattled in there, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had the ball a couple possessions there right where we wanted it with a couple of those guys. I'm confident those guys will make plays. I'll look at the tape and see if there's something better we could have ran for them, but I did like a couple of the looks we had.
When a season has a streak like this, and it's hard to win in this league, how much do you internalize that? How much do you self-evaluate? Am I putting the guys in the right positions that they need to be in?
Well, you're always self-evaluating. Yeah, you're always self-evaluating. Figuring out how you're evaluating the quality of the looks we got late. Yeah, I mean, I think we've got young guys that are closing games, for pretty much the first time. And I think there's a process to that. But I've shared often, Adam. Listen, this is league play in good leagues, and I think the second deepest league in the country. And we'll look at ways that we can play better and coach better.
Similar, a lot of basketball left, and unpredictable Big Ten. You're seeing it every night.
Right.
That said, how much of a gut punch is this? Can you speak to that, or do you
No,
just
I think when you're in it, when you're in it, Rob, you just focus on improving. Yeah, I mean, I think the guy. Listen, I think people that are in it know how hard it is, and that have been through it. So I think your focus is just improvement. That's really where we're at as coaches, and I love our locker room. I love our guys. I love the leadership from a couple of those older guys in that sophomore group, and a lot of confidence in our ability to continue to grow from some tough stuff.
Is it ridiculous to compare it to last year when you kind of were skidding there? Seems like a different chemistry, a different vibe.
Yeah,
Guys
it's
said
a
it,
different.
no finger pointing, and just better. I don't know if you can speak to that you have the confidence this team can.
Yeah, all the numbers would suggest it's much different than last year. The quality of our games, even the ones we've lost here, have been, the quality of play has been much better than the stretch we were in last year. So, obviously, it's an end result game, and we got to figure out how to finish out. But at the end of the day, our play has been significantly better than that stretch.
The guys feel more connected to you? I mean, in terms of, I'm not saying you had problems last year, I don't know, but it seems like more cohesion.
Yeah, I'll just speak to this group, and I think this group right now, I got a lot of faith in this group, in the leadership of this group and their ability to continue to grow and get better.
When a team gets that hot from 3 in the first half, I know you've said before, like sometimes guys just hit tough shots.
Yeah.
But when they're consistently hitting from deep, what schematically did you guys try to do to get them off the line to stop that? Because there was just never really a point when they stopped.
Yeah, we had a challenge. Well, they stopped more in the second half. They didn't obviously shoot it as well in the second half. The first half, 7 for 11. They got a few of those on our ball screen coverage, and when you're going to commit 2 to the ball, I just think we needed to challenge a little bit better, and we stayed a little bit too long. The MIG stayed a little bit too long, and the depth of our big wasn't quite where it needed to be a couple times, which allowed McDaniel to get deep and skip to the opposite corner for threes. So those are all things that schematically we can get better at, but there are going to be some open looks when you're playing the ball screen coverage like we did.
Felix was on Comwall a little bit. Looks like he was doing a pretty good job. He just got some shots off that he had a high arc even over Felix's arms. Do you think he's made progress this year in guarding some of those guys that can go 4-5 and move a little bit more?
Well, he's been tremendous. He's made great growth as a player. Felix, great growth in a lot of different areas. I love how much better he's gotten. It's hard to take off the floor right now because of how he impacts things. So I'm really pleased with his growth.
Bruce said the only time he thinks about the losing streak last year is the things that you can't do. What do you see from him specifically as you go through another tough stretch to try and get out of this?
He's a great communicator. I think sometimes when you're a young player, and I think he's a young player who cares so much about the team and about winning. And sometimes you can almost care at such a level that you press. And he's got to be careful that he just allows who he is as a great leader and a great player to come through. And he's just got to, he's got to kind of play with a little bit of a mindset of, hey, I'm going to do my very best, and whatever happens, happens. Because he is so committed to, this team and this program and what we're doing. And sometimes when you can want things almost too bad, and then it's hard to perform like that. So, we've tried to remind him, hey, this is a different year. This is a different group. And listen, you guys will see it. You guys obviously can write about the 3-game losing streak right now, but our story's far from over. You'll see what this group can grow into. Not many people are gonna maybe feel that right now, but I certainly do. I know our staff does, and I know a lot of the guys in the locker room do.
You mentioned Dale in that stretch in the second half. Are you starting to see him formulate a role? I know he didn't play a ton the other night, but that series of plays seem to be where he can help you.
Yeah, we need him, and I just liked his energy. I thought he gave us great lift with the ball, great pace. I thought he was good on the ball defensively. So it was great to see him play that way, and he's a good shooter. He'll make open looks. Finish the floater, but he gave us really good minutes.
Chris, Devin gave you a lot, especially in the first half. What are you liking from those freshmen? A lot of them played. I think maybe all of them played actually in the first half. What were your takeaways from that rotation going so deep in the first half, and those freshmen in particular?
Yeah, Devin, he had great physicality around the glass in post-ups, and he's shown that in practice. And eventually he's going to be a guy that's going to shoot a lot of threes. I think in the second half, probably he could have moved that one a little bit more, because he just is so gifted around the rim right now. But as his game expands, he's going to develop into a really good player.
Chris, coaching is hard. The X's and O's might be the easy part. You spoke to guys mentally just staying sharp. How hard is that? Is that how much of the job is making sure guys don't look back and remain confident? I mean, these guys are 18; they're usually confident.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like Roddy, he's hitting kind of a bump here.
Yep.
What do you do?
Harder for younger players than it is older players, because older players have just naturally been through it. They've been through some of the challenges that go through the growth of a young player to a better player. So it's really hard for young players, and I think it's our job right now to get them playing to their strength, which I thought Roddy did. Competing as well as they can and being highly detailed in terms of what we're doing defensively, and then offensively just trusting that if they play to their strengths, good things will happen. And I think we had some good moments with that. I also think we've got to continue to have better moments and trust the pass a little bit more. But I think it's much harder for young players. That is a part of the maturation of a young, good, talented player growing into an all-league type performer. And I think we're seeing that in front of us.
What can you do other than tell guys make shots?
Yeah.
I mean, and what can you, coaching-wise, at what point when shots aren't falling, I mean, it can change in an instant, but what do you have to do? Like you said, you went bigger a little bit.
Yeah.
I assume that's because shots aren't falling. I don't know, or maybe the matchup they gave you.
Yeah.
What can you, I mean.
I think just what we can do, Rob, is really evaluate the quality of our looks, and then they've got to trust their stroke. I think that's really what we're trying to evaluate. What are the quality of our looks? And did we get some good looks late? We did get the ball in a couple spots where we wanted to late. Roddy's and Bruce's in particular. I think we might have had a layup there too in there. So we did get the ball where we wanted to in those stretches. So that's what I can evaluate. What's the quality of our look? And then just, keep working on closing out games. We obviously got to get better at that.
Can we just finish up Conrad Adams?
We just talked to Felix, and that's kind of what he said was one of the areas he thinks that you can improve in. Is he said the last 2 minutes, I think he said, when our bodies are tired, we're hurt, and we need to be able to finish. how does a team, especially with young guys, get better in the last 2 minutes? Like when he said, like, we're hurting, we're tired, but we have to push through.
Yeah, I think it's a toughness thing. Yeah, it's a toughness thing. I think, I don't know if I see that as much of an issue. I do think sometimes we get deflated when our shots don't go in late, and that can affect us at the other end, and that's a toughness thing too. So I think both those things are growth areas for our guys.
Ball movement at times seemed okay, and then I think you finished with 6 assists, which is lower than what you normally have and lower than what Michigan has allowed teams this season. What made that aspect of the game maybe difficult for you?
Probably missed shots more than anything.
Yeah.
I thought if you make half of our open looks, it's probably 10 or 11 assists to whatever we had, 2 or 3. I mean, turnovers, we have 4.
Yeah.
4 turnovers. Yeah. So I think it was just a byproduct of some missed looks.
And with Roddy and Scotty both being questionable coming into the game, how did that impact the preparation coming in, and how did that play? Like, were there things they couldn't do? How limited?
Yeah, I think they were both limited a little bit. In particular, we didn't know until tip if both guys were going to play. So Roddy's ankle's blown up pretty good. So I think time will tell. But he did a great job. I thought he was an improvement upon his performance in the last game. I'm proud of him for his growth there and fighting through that ankle, because it was a real thing for him. So we'll see how he is.
Totally off topic. The reports are the Texas A&M AD is going to be the next Ohio State AD. Do you know him? What do you know about that situation? I think Bork or something.
Yeah, Ross. Yeah, I'm not at liberty to really discuss anything, but I'm sure there'll be word here real soon.